they just want to destroy the government. So they are not motivated by political goals, and they fall outside of the Clausewitzian paradigm. So that is very important to understand, that the objectives in fifth generation warfare are very different from previous generations of warfare. And the way I see it, fifth generation warfare is a broad attack on the state. It is about bringing down the state, collapsing society, and potentially totally reshaping society. And not necessarily by building up another state, but by establishing some other type of control. And that would be the end of the political era. You can say it's the end of politics if the fifth generation warfare belligerents are successful, because what they want to do is to bring an end to the political struggle of ideas and interests. And they want to establish a totalitarian system. At least that is my suspicion in terms of what may be happening. And what is also important about fifth generation warfare is that it takes place primarily, if not exclusively, in the human domain.
Could you explain to our viewers what do you mean by domain? Because it is a confusing term for somebody. What is the domain of warfare?
Well, broadly speaking, a domain is a space in which military action takes place. So we have the traditional physical domains. The oldest one is land, then there's sea, then there's the air, and then there's outer space. So in those domains, military actions, military force can be applied. And then we have the so-called fifth domain, which is the information or cyber domain. So that is a more recent development. So the old domains are fairly well established. So we have land and sea warfare since the beginning of warfare. And then since the early 20th century, we have the air domain. So that also means that we have developed a dedicated military force for that, the Air Force, which came in existence in the United States in 1947. But obviously, we have air forces since the First World War, for sure. And then the more recent one is the outer space domain, which now also has its space force. So that also marks the existence of a domain, that you have a dedicated military capability for operating in that domain. So since 2018, we have the Space Force. And we also have a cyber force, which is Cyber Command, which I believe was formed in 2009 or 2010. So these are the main domains. And the Special Operations Command has suggested that there could be another domain. So that would be the sixth domain, which is called the human domain. And the human domain is about social relationships. It's about culture. It's about cognition and narratives. So what happens in the human domain is, broadly speaking, psychological warfare. So you're trying to affect the minds of people in order to achieve military or political objectives.
May I ask a question? What you just said, you meant the fifth generation warfare is the human domain, not the sixth.
Well, fifth generation warfare takes place primarily in the human domain. So the domain is where military force is applied. So that's the operating area. So where the action takes place, so to speak.
Okay.
And you have dedicated types of capabilities for each domain. And yeah, and if you count the domains, land, sea, air, space, cyberspace, and then the sixth would be the human domain. So it doesn't match up with the
Okay.
generation.
Now I understand the difference. There's a number generation warfare, and then there are number of domains. I just want to ask this question that really shocked me. You present a table on page 51 where you list all the generations warfare. And for the fifth generation warfare, you describe the domain as physical, information, cognitive, and social. But for next generation warfare, and I understand this is speculative because you are basically speculating about the future. The domain does not include humans at all. It's all technology. It's basically technology fighting technology.